It's Reezy, owner of the Reason Sports Network, reporting live at the Reason Sports Center. And today we have NFL Primetime. We'll be recapping every single NFL game that happened in Week 3. And most of these players are subscribers to the channel. First, we go down to Miami, Florida, where we have a divisional matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills started off hot on defense, shutting down the Miami offense. But the star rookie tight end, Jarenzo Fisher, number 17 for the Dolphins, started making some plays. And that's why they scored 38 points against the Bills. Shane Moss, the starting quarterback, left the game with injury, so Ryan Grimes put up a great game, 5 touchdown passes. But the leading receiver was Jarenzo Fisher, the tight end from North Dakota State. John Hargrove, a wide receiver that's a subscriber to the channel, had 7 catches for 110 receiving yards. Let's stay in the AFC East and go to the Big Apple, where the New York Jets faced up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Patrick Hogan, player of the game, 131 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 82 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. The Bengals started off the season on fire, 2-0, very surprising considering that they had a raw rookie quarterback, Tyler Waffle, who actually played well today, had 4 passing touchdowns and over 300 passing yards, but the New York Jets offense was just way too much for the Bengals. Timothy Hill performed well. So did Patrick Hogan. Jacoby Sams, 5 catches for 101 receiving yards. Blake Evans, the rookie, with 7 pancakes. Blake Evans is a subscriber to the channel, by the way. Tyler Waffle so far is looking like the best rookie quarterback. 328 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. But they shut down Waffle in the run game. I don't know why they didn't give the ball to Johnny Youngmore. He only had 4 carries. Speaking of the AFC North, let's go to an intense AFC North rivalry between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. The player of the game is Ahmed Carwell, 336 passing yards and 3 total touchdowns. The Browns had this game in the bag, but they choked for real. They have so many offensive weapons, but the Steelers came back towards the end of the ball game and sealed the game, and now the Browns are 0-3. I wonder if they start trading off some assets, or is it too early to tell? Y'all let me know. But Tyler Alexander had himself a great game. He missed the last 2 seasons due to injury, but he's showing you that he's still one of the best wide receivers in the game. The Steelers are showing you that you still have to deal with them in the AFC North. Now let's take a look at the stats. Tyler Alexander, 10 catches, 186 receiving yards, while Zaquan Jordan, a subscriber to the channel, had 3 catches for 43 yards. Carwell wasn't great from an efficiency standpoint, throwing for 336 yards on 54%. But Marlon Restu had himself a great game, 10 catches, 169 receiving yards. And if you're new to this channel, anybody with a period next to their name means that they are a subscriber to the channel. Anybody with an apostrophe next to their name means that they are a Patreon member. Let's go to the City of Angels in Los Angeles, California, where the Jacksonville Jaguars faced up against the Los Angeles Chargers. And this game went into overtime. The Jags pulling out the victory, 34-31. They're now 2-1, while the Los Angeles Chargers fall to 0-3. The Jags were led by their quarterback Kendrick Whitewater. They got it done in the clutch today. Great numbers for the star quarterback, 392 passing yards, 71% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Woods, the rookie, 5 catches, 44 receiving yards. The next game, we got to see one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league put on a performance. Keenan Days from the Baltimore Ravens just ran all over the New England Patriots, and he cut him up with his arm as well, going for 7 touchdowns in this ball game. Right here was one of my favorite throws of the game. putting a dime right on the money to Rayvon Lewis, and he got into the end zone. They put up 71 points on him. It seemed like the Ravens offense was unstoppable all game, and there's nothing that the Patriots could have done. What a fall off in New England. 0-3 so far. The Ravens move on to 3-0. If we take a look at Keenan Day's numbers, 12 for 19, 225 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. And on the ground, 19 for 144? That's crazy. Rayvon Lewis, 4 catches, 92 receiving yards. Typical day by him. Harrison Martinovich, quarterback for the Patriots, one of the top draft prospects, subscriber to the channel, 187 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not a great performance for him. Now let's go to Nashville, Tennessee, where we have the Las Vegas Raiders facing off against the Tennessee Titans. DeMarcus Williams was the player of the game with 318 yards and 5 touchdowns. This full game was shown on the channel, but DeMarcus Williams and the Raiders went off in the second quarter. It's like they couldn't be stopped. Third quarter and the first quarter, the Titans defense played well against them. Got pressure from Vontae Austin, the defensive tackle. But during that second quarter, they double-teamed Austin, gave Williams some time, and he was throwing bombs all over the defense. Vontae Austin had himself a game in this ball game. He had 3 TFLs and 2 sacks, even though they got blown off of the field. DeMarcus Williams, on the other hand, 318 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. His first 2 interceptions on the season. So far, he has 16 passing touchdowns, 2 picks. And their run game was shut down. Nothing on the ground. Absolutely nothing. NFC North rivalry right here, the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. The Lions ended up victorious in this game, dominating from start to finish. Eli Jones, a subscriber to the channel, 308 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns. This looks like a completely different Lions team than what we saw week 1. Week 1, they looked ugly. They looked terrible. They lost the game 3-0 to the Philadelphia Eagles, a team they got blown out this week. But now they have a winning record. They're 2-1, 2 dominant games in a row. I think the Lions are back. Eli Jones still got player of the game despite throwing 3 interceptions and a 57% completion rate. Running the ball, they did a decent job. The receivers did a decent job. Xavier Baller, subscriber to the channel, the rookie from Nebraska, 5 for 59. Jeremiah Hawkins, 10 solo tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack. He did a great job in coverage as well. Shout out to Jeremiah. And here's some of the other subscribers to the channel, like Bobby Fitzpatrick, 5 solo tackles, 2 interceptions, and a PBU. What more do you want from your DB? This was the NFC matchup. Now, let's go to the AFC, where we have the Indianapolis Colts facing up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Colts ended up winning. Another close game in the AFC. The Colts ended up being victorious due to Deontay Lyons' effort. The kick returner, the rookie kick returner that they took in the first round, number 2. Coming out of Washington, people criticized the pick. Taking a kick returner in the first round, how could you do that? But Deontay has consistently gave the Colts great field position. The defense has always been good. The offense has been a little shaky. With Deontay back there returning kicks, he gives the offense a chance to score every single time he touches the ball. The only team that the Colts lost to this year are the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans faced up against the Chicago Bears. And the Bears ended up losing their 3rd straight game this year. Trayvon Shady had 3 total touchdowns, 280 passing yards, even though he struggled early on in this game. He got in the rhythm, did his thing, and they ended up winning 31-21. Bears 0-3, Texans 3-0. Even though Shady struggled with accuracy at points in this game, he still threw for 64% completion percentage, which is okay, especially for today's NFL. Jake Charles, 20 carries, 101 yards on the ground. And then if we look at the receiving numbers, Jake Charles led the team in catches, but Brent Roberts led the team in yards. 3 catches for 100 receiving yards, and Calvin Dotson, a Patreon member, had 2 catches for 27 yards. I think they need to get him more involved in the offense. He's definitely a piece that could help them out. And on the other side of the field, Ryan Glick, probably the best rookie wide receiver, had 7 catches for 70 yards. Ryan Glick is a Patreon member, by the way. Let's go to Denver, Colorado, where we probably had the biggest upset of the weekend, the Denver Broncos versus the San Francisco 49ers. And the Broncos ended up victorious. Dedrick Richardson getting his first win of the year. Isaiah King Jr., subscriber to the channel, rookie running back from the University of Michigan, had himself a great game. And the Broncos won this game because of their offense, because their defense couldn't stop Chris Bird if they wanted to. Chris Bird did whatever he wanted. Number 2 right here, the all-pro tight end, couldn't be guarded. They put a safety on him, they couldn't stop him. Put a linebacker on him, they couldn't stop him. Put a corner on him, they couldn't stop him. But it didn't matter because the Broncos ended up winning the game because of Dedrick Richardson. Their quarterback had himself a clean game against this terrific San Francisco 49ers defense. And that's why it's such an upset. Everyone before this game was calling Richardson a bust, saying he couldn't play in this league. He struggled as a rookie, started off struggling this year. Everyone wrote them off for this game, said that there's no way that they could beat the 49ers, and they won off of their offense. So congratulations to Richardson and the Broncos. Chris Bird had 5 catches, 220 receiving yards. That's 44 yards per catch and a receiving touchdown. Jerry Bright, the rookie corner from LSU, had himself 1 solo tackle in this game. Dedrick Richardson, on the other hand, 13 for 20, 220, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Isaiah King Jr. had himself a good game. 2 catches, 22 receiving yards. Ace King, the top 10 pick, 2 catches for 46 receiving yards. The next game is a game between 2 NFC teams, and the Packers continue their dominance over the NFL, advancing to 3-0. They won this game 49-21. Despite the Bucs having a very talented wide receiver core. I know they have a rookie quarterback, but their wide receiver 1 was an all-pro as a rookie last year. Their wide receiver 2 looks pretty good, Mozzie York, who is a subscriber to the channel. But this guy, their wide receiver 1, Brett Nugent, he is the truth. But their wide receiver 2, Mozzie York, he's not a slouch either. Don't sleep on him. He made some plays in this game, but it just wasn't enough. The Packers' run game, their pass game just dominated the Bucs defense. Combine that with a rookie quarterback making some mistakes, that's why the Bucs got smashed. Casey Patrick, the Heisman winner from last year, 362 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 picks, 54% completion percentage. That run game was shut down, but the pass game definitely benefited from that. 7 catches, 120 receiving yards for Brett Nugent. Mozzie York, 4 for 94, 23 yards per catch. Gary Williams once again goes over 200, the league leader in rushing so far. Now let's head over to the NFL's most popular division, the NFC East, where we had the Dallas Cowboys face up against the New York Giants, and the Cowboys ended up victorious. Chris Stevens played the game, 337 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns. Cowboys dominated these guys 38-17, and this was led by a passing attack that featured the Cortland Moton right here, subscriber to the channel. Let's take a look at some stats though. Jamil Chalmers, 12 carries, 53 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Receiving, he had 4 catches, 34 receiving yards. While Cortland Moulton, 11 catches, 227 receiving yards, 20 yards per catch, 1 drop though. Cortland Moulton has definitely been carrying this Cowboys passing attack this season. Another competitive football game showing up right here, where we had the New Orleans Saints facing up against the Carolina Panthers. Saints star running back Graham McShawn was the player of the game. 33 carries, 177 rushing yards, 6 catches, 69 receiving yards. I think he's been the best running back in football in my opinion this year. The Panthers take the L though to their rival, the New Orleans Saints. That was a crazy catch. The quarterback was making plays. Tate Carter III, a subscriber to the channel. The receivers for the Panthers were making plays as well. But when it came down to it, they could not stop Graham McShawn, number 2 for the New Orleans Saints. Tate Carter III had himself a day though. 318 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 72% completion percentage. Now if we go over to the defensive side of the ball, Seth McCray, the rookie strong safety from the University of Miami, had himself a decent ball game with 3 solo tackles. And in my opinion, this is the best running back in the league right now ever since Bryce Veach retired. 3 rushing touchdowns, 177 on the ground, 5.3 yards per carry, and then he led the team in catches. 6 catches, 69 receiving yards. And I'm not gonna lie, in my opinion, there were a lot of wasted games this weekend. A lot of players went off for great statistics, but they ended up losing the game. Like this game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, Al Francis is a great quarterback, Pro Bowl level quarterback. 5 total touchdowns in this game. Yes, he deserves the Player of the Game award. I know. But in my opinion, the best player in this game was Andy Brewer, wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks. He went off for over 300 receiving yards, but it didn't matter because the Falcons put up 45 on their defense. Yes, Al Francis had himself a great game. 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Running backs did himself a decent job. Yes, I know, the Falcons. Congratulations. Brad James threw for 471 passing yards. Andy Brewer, 12 catches for 302 receiving yards, and they still lost 25 yards per catch. It didn't matter. Now, early in this video, we talked about the Detroit Lions looking like the Detroit Lions. Now, there's one team that hasn't looked like themselves so far this year, and that's the Washington Commanders. But today, they look like the Washington Commanders, the team that's been in the Super Bowl for the past 2 years, and the team that won the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. Yes, I know they lost their star Hall of Fame running back Bryce Veach, but the first 2 games, they were getting steamrolled by the opponents, including the Detroit Lions, who their only loss of the season is to the Philadelphia Eagles, where they lost 3-0. But Washington caught Philly slipping today. They beat them. Is this the real Washington, or is this just a divisional matchup? Because if you even go back 1,000 years, Washington and Philly, they always compete when they play against each other. Even when they went to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, their first loss of the season was to Washington. So maybe it's just that, and Washington actually sucks, and Philly's actually good, and this was just a fluke game. We'll find out later on in the season though. Let's look at the stats for the game. I'll mention the subscriber to the channel if they pop up. Donald Taylor, the rookie first-round running back from Akron, 16 carries, 73 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. And he did his thing receiving the ball as well, 5 catches for 56 yards. And this is the last game that we'll cover for NFL Primetime, Week 3. Another divisional matchup, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. And the player of this game, Sean Amory, the Pro Bowl quarterback, the older brother of USC star pass rusher Stan Amory. The Rams ended up winning this game 41-28, and they move on to 3-0, starting hot this year, mainly due to their star quarterback and their explosive offense thanks to their 2 star wide receivers. Emery threw the ball exceptionally well today. 20 for 29, 387 passing yards, 3 touchdowns and no picks. Gabe Williams 6 for 103. Archie had 6 for 130, and Alex Mathis had 5 for 97. But that'll conclude NFL Primetime for this week. Thank you for tuning in to the Reason Sports Network. And if you want your character to be included on this channel, then make sure you watch till the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click on the post notification bell too. You can be a character in the Reason Sports Network universe. We make content for high school, college, and the pros. You can submit a form. The link will be in the description. However, if you sign up with Patreon, you'll have a lot more customization and control over your character. The link will be in the description. You can also view your player's season and career stats online. The link will be in the description. I also added a social media feature for the universe to be more immersive. The link to that video will also be in the description. If you don't have Patreon but you still want to be featured on the channel more, then make sure you're active in the comment section. You being consistently active reminds me to put you on the channel in some way. When you submit a form, your character will be put in the universe. You can see yourself in a live stream or video when teams play, but it's highly unlikely that you'll see me controlling your player throughout a game if you don't have Patreon. Signing up with Patreon gives you control over attributes, accessories, gives you a GTA face, control over your backstory, and you'll be one of the best players in the universe. If you want to see the #1 offense face up against the #1 defensive tackle in the NFL, then click this video right here. Or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, or you can subscribe to the Patreon.